Coming to you live from True Story Studios in beautiful downtown Tempe, we have Feel the Love Podcast Hour, featuring our host with the most, Irma.
This is probably going to be the most important podcast that I do out of all my other podcasts because I have right next to me my hero, my father, Mr. Eugene M. Mason. I'm so glad you are here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy to be here.
So let's just get started. Tell me how you got your nickname, Buddy.
How I did what?
How you got your nickname, Buddy.
Oh. Well, I was a junior, and
In high school or college?
I was Eugene Michael Mason Jr., and my mother didn't want me to be called Junior. So they tried to call me Eugene, but every time they called me Eugene, I just answered me, Gene. And since that was my dad's name, so they just picked something to differentiate the two of us. And there was a song going around at the time, and it was Climb Upon My Knee, Buddy Boy. And that's where the nickname Buddy came from. So for all of my family and really close friends, I'm Buddy.
And tell me about your childhood.
My childhood. Oh. Well, started off, we lived in a little town up in Massachusetts, and my dad worked for the railroad, so we happened to live in a neighborhood. We lived in a neighborhood that was close to the railroad station. Up in the town was West Fitchburg, Massachusetts, and we grew up there, my sister and I, till we were about 6 or 7 years old. And at that age, that's when my dad passed away. He had a heart problem that was undetected early enough, and he passed away when I was about 6 years old. So in order to keep the family going, my mom moved to a different town to get a different job, and we moved into Leominster, Massachusetts, and that's where I grew up till I was about 20 years old.
And when you were growing up, did you have a group of friends that you hanged out with and you did things with, and that's how you met my angel mother?
Yeah. Well, when I was a young kid in the 8th grade and early high school, I worked on a farm in the summer, and one of the fellow workers on the farm was your Uncle Inky.
Uncle Inky, yes.
Yeah, but he and I worked together, and one time, I guess, I don't know why, maybe for a Wednesday evening band concert, he introduced me to his family, and that's where I met Angela, your mom.
And so how long did you date my mother, your angel, Angela? When did you guys start dating?
Well, we called it dating. I guess we were just hanging out together when we were in the 8th grade, and all through high school, and a couple of years after that.
And when did you propose?
Oh, I proposed.
I mean, was it during high school or after high school, before you went into the Army?
No, it was after I was in the Army, when I came back from Korea.
When you came back from Korea. So why did you join the Army?
Well, at that time, if you didn't join, you were going to get drafted anyway. So
Okay.
we, myself and a buddy of mine, we joined up, and it was a pretty good deal.
Are you still friends with that person that you signed up with?
I haven't talked to him for quite a while. I heard from him, but I haven't talked to him for quite a while. He lives in the eastern part of Texas. So I should really check up on him.
So, when you hanged out with my mom, when did you know that you were going to marry her? Before you went overseas with the Army, or after you came back?
It's probably while I was there.
Oh, okay. And how did you propose?
Oh, I don't remember the words. My mother gave me her diamond ring, and I had that reset for your mother. And like I said, I don't remember what words. I think we probably figured it was going to happen anyway because we had been together so long.
Did you do it in front of family, or did you do it in a private dinner? The engagement, do you remember?
I'm sure it was private.
Okay. And so, when you got married, once you came back from wherever you were with the Army, where you got married in a church, correct?
Mm-hmm. In her parish.
In her parish, and where did you live after you got married?
For the first 6 months, we lived in her grandparents' house.
Okay.
Yeah, and shortly after that, at the end of that 6 months or so, we moved into an apartment in a neighboring town, close by.
And is that because of the Army job, or you guys just wanted some more alone time and getting your own independence together?
Well, at that time, I had an assignment. My Army assignment was in downtown Boston.
So it was closer.
So it was close, and I was living in my hometown and traveling back and forth. And that made it convenient to stay there.
And did Mom work?
Yeah. All those young ladies worked in some kind of plastic factory back there. That's what that town was. And
What did they make in the plastic factory? Do you remember?
they made combs and barrettes. And
What was the name of the company?
she worked for Tilton and Cook.
Okay. And what did you guys do for fun when you were newly married, when you weren't dealing with the Army?
Well, there was all kind of family there. All her family and all my family. So there was always something going on with the folks.
And did the Army provide you an opportunity to go overseas?
Yeah, when I finished that assignment in Boston, I was assigned to a unit in Germany.
And how was Germany?
Fantastic.
And what did you do in Germany? I mean, did you race cars, or did you just enjoy the culture?
I did enjoy the culture. I didn't race cars. I belonged to a sports car club, the Hesse Motor Sports Car Club, and we did a lot of rallies, sports car rallies and driving rallies, and that was our weekend entertainment.
So then there was Germany, and then did you come back to the U.S., or did you go to another country?
The next assignment was back in the U.S. at Fort Bliss in Texas.
And is that where you permanently stayed?
For a long time.
And what did you guys...
We don't say permanently stayed in the Army.
Okay, so what did you guys do for fun in Fort Bliss, Texas, or El Paso, Texas? What activities were you guys involved in? Were you in acting? Was she in bowling? I mean, things like that.
Well, you know the answer to that.
Well,
she was in a couple of bowling leagues, and I got connected with a bunch of guys that were working at Fort Bliss, and they were trying to establish a recorded system for the classes that they were giving.
What kind of classes?
These were basic electronics classes in the Air Defense School.
Okay.
And this group that was doing the recording, they were kind of active, and so they got me interested in the Fort Bliss entertainment section, and I started performing in a few plays. It was kind of fun. I really enjoyed that.
Do you remember the name of the plays or any of the plays?
Yes, I was in Visit to a Small Planet. I was in.
Well, what was your favorite, or did you have them?
I'm trying to think of the name of it. It was.
Well, that's okay.
No, it was about a Scotsman. The cast was 4 or 5 military people in a hospital.
Oh.
One American, one Scotsman, and one Australian. And I played the American.
And did you race cars?
It was the Hasty Heart.
The Hasty Heart. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you win any awards for any of those acting opportunities?
Oh, no, they weren't events that you would get an award for. But they were entertaining to me, and they were educational, and eventually I got connected to a bunch that ran a melodrama in El Paso.
Nice.
And I worked with them for a couple of years. That was really fun, because in the melodrama you can do almost anything you want. You know, the lines are not that important. You pick what you want to say and do it.
And so when you also were you into cars or any kind of racing?
Not racing, no. I like cars.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite car?
Probably the Alfa Romeo.
Why?
Well, the first one I bought when I was in Germany, and when we came home from Germany, came back from Germany, I'm sure it was the only Alfa Romeo around El Paso, and everybody knew it and recognized it, and it was fun to drive. It was a fun car.
And so you and Mom were into the drama and into the cars. And did you do traveling at all outside of Fort Bliss, Texas?
Well, we made regular trips back home.
Through flying or motorhomes?
No, most of the early time was in cars.
And what kind of presents did you used to buy Mom for Christmas or for her birthday? I specifically remember one Christmas you bought her light bulbs or something of that nature.
I used to get in trouble for some of the gifts that I was buying, but I can't make a list for you.
And did you buy her a motorhome for her birthday or anniversary one year?
Well, I bought a motorhome. I don't know that it was for her birthday or anniversary. You and her could decide that if you want, but I bought it because I thought we needed it.
To go trout fishing, right?
Well, she wanted to go camping too.
So she liked camping.
Yeah.
And that was about as rough as she was going to get, not including staying in a tent, right?
Well, we had done the tent.
You had done the tent thing.
Camping, and we had done the travel. We had a travel all for a while. It was like a great big van. We put a couple of cots in the back and slept in the back of that one. And after doing the tent and the travel all, she didn't want to do any more rough stuff. the motorhome was the way to go.
And so, with the motorhome, where did you travel to quite frequently?
Well, we went to Albuquerque a lot.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, for the hot air balloon rally.
Yeah. We went to Taos, so that you and I could go fishing and she could go shopping.
Taos, New Mexico, to go shopping. But prior to that, before I came along, did you guys go on any trips with the motorhome before I came along?
Well, one or two, yeah. Mostly they were.
Fishing?
They were short trips. Yeah.
Okay, because she was getting used to you going fishing and her getting used to the camper, correct?
She went fishing with me a lot.
Did she like it?
Yeah, well, she said she did.
Well, probably because she loved you. You know, you do that when you're married, right? Okay, so when did you two decide that you wanted to have children, or did you?
We had always wanted to have children from the day we got married. But gradually, we came to realize that we weren't going to have children of our own, so we went shopping.
You went shopping, okay, just like Target, okay.
No, it wasn't like Target.
Was it a blue light special?
It could have been.
It could have been.
Could have
okay.
been, yeah.
So, how did you, when you decided you wanted to adopt, what did you do to inquire about it?
Well, like I told you, I went to our parish priest, and he introduced us to a lady from the state of Texas Child Welfare Services, Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown.
And, you know, funny things happen. Mrs. Brown had a family that used to take vacations in my hometown in Massachusetts.
Get out, really? In Leominster or Fitchburg?
In Leominster.
Leominster, Massachusetts. She was taking vacations, okay?
Yeah, her family involved a couple of lawyers who had an office on Main Street in Leominster, Massachusetts. And we talked quite often about the old hometown.
So when you asked to adopt, did you want a baby? A baby, or did you care the age of the child?
We didn't specify.
And were you the normal age for adoption, or were you slightly older? What age were you when you adopted?
Well, let's see.
I was thinking you were in your 50s. Is that wrong to say?
Maybe early 50s, late 40s.
So, do you think that influenced you in deciding whether to adopt a baby or a child?
It might have influenced the welfare service.
Well, why?
Whether to give us a child or a baby, since we were at that age.
So, did they classify me as a special needs child? Do you remember?
I think they did, yes, because at the time you had braces on. You had braces on your legs, and you were wearing orthopedic shoes. Yeah.
And so when you first met me with these braces and orthopedic shoes, what did you think? Like, oh my God, what am I getting into?
No. Well, this kid probably can make it.
Probably can make it. Okay. So what was the process for me to get adopted? How long did that take? What would you say, a year or 6 months?
About 6 or 7 months.
6 and 7 months,
and actually, probably a little bit more than that. About 9 months.
And what did they offer classes or orientation or counseling services like they do now? We had many interviews and discussions with Mrs. Brown.
With Mrs. Brown and with others that were involved in the process. Yeah. they didn't send us to any special classes, but they did interview us and discuss how we would react with certain problems and how we should react and how we would. You know, that's all.
And so when I came into the picture and I have all these physical ailments and the adoption finally got finalized, and not even after the ink dried on the paper, you realized that I had to have major surgery. What did you think?
We knew that before that.
You knew before that I needed open heart surgery.
Yeah, that you had a heart problem, and we knew that it was going to be taken care of. Since I was a military veteran, a retired military veteran, we knew that it was something that we could take care of.
So, you, because of your military background, you were able to take really good physical care of me. Yeah. And they operated on me in San Antonio at Brooke Army Medical Center. And when I was going under, were you and Mom scared at all, wondering if you might have been able to lose the only child that you had that you just adopted?
Of course we were.
Well, I don't know, because you've talked to the doctors and they say, well, this is normal. We're going to just go in there and fix this atrial septic defect and she should be fine. Yeah. So, was it a scary moment?
Of course, yeah.
And just out of curiosity, what made you get through that moment?
Mostly your results.
My results.
Your attitude and your results. You were kind of funny when we first saw you after the operation.
After the operation, what happened?
Well, you were... Do you really want
It's okay. I don't have anything to hide. The whole world's going to know anyways. It's fine.
You were excited, screaming and yelling, Mom, I can pee right in the bed.
It's such a luxury. You have no idea.
Yeah.
So then you knew that I was going to be okay.
Yeah, that was it.
And then from there, you had to go not only from that obstacle, but then you had to go from my legs still being fixed. I got out of the braces right before open heart surgery, right?
Yeah.
And then I had to go into a brace because I had scoliosis.
Scoliosis and the shoulder.
And the shoulder issue. But they really couldn't do anything with the shoulder. They tried to do a lot of physical therapy, correct? They didn't actually go in and do surgery.
No, they put you in, they put a sling that was attached to the brace.
To try to keep it in place. So, the first couple of years of adopting a child, and I was at the age of 9, which is quite a bit older than most people would not want to adopt. And I was quite sick in the sense of physically. Was it a big adjustment for you to have to deal with my attitude of people looking at me weird because I had the brace and getting burns on my body because it was so hot outside, or me, complaining to Mom, saying I don't understand what's going on?
Well, of course there was a big adjustment, but we had decided before that we were going to do it, so we did it.
So you did it, and once the scoliosis. Once I stopped growing, then they took the brace off of me, and I went to school and high school, and I made honor roll, and I tried to make you and Mom proud, and I was in a speech debate club, and then with Mom, what happened? Mom was doing fine. She did all the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry, and she made my beautiful clothes. And then, did she start getting sick?
Well, yeah. It started pretty gradually, and it was actually was misdiagnosed. They thought she had an ulcer problem.
And this was back in what, the 1980s?
It was about 84, 85. She passed away early in 86.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably in the middle of 1985 when she had the stomach problems, and they thought it was an ulcer problem, and by the time it was correctly diagnosed, it was already too late to do much.
So when you found out the diagnosis, did you want to tell me, or did you guys feel that you needed to wait until maybe another alternative would come along to help her with the pain, or how did you guys come to the conclusion whether to tell me or not?
I think, as I recall, I think we just told you. I don't think there was any secret about it.
Okay, and when you were going back and forth to the hospital and taking care of her and trying to take care of me, did you feel like there was a wedge of communication between us because you were so focused on trying to help her feel better, and that the communication sometimes was a little intense because of you having to deal with her sickness and me having to deal with her sickness?
No, I didn't. I was really, when I thought back about it, I was really impressed with the way you handled everything.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Well,
I didn't.
because I thought you were just a kid, and you weren't.
So I was having to handle my mother pass away with cancer before, I think it was before I graduated after I graduated high school.
Yeah. You graduated in '85, and the next spring was when she passed away.
And was that probably the hardest thing that you've ever had to go through, is the passing of your sweetheart?
Pretty close. Yeah, I would guess so.
And how did you get through it?
Well, the family helped a lot. Everybody did. Everybody was helpful. Especially you. Yeah.
You really think so?
Mm-hmm.
Because I tried, but I didn't know whether I had succeeded or not.
Yeah.
Because everybody goes through grief in different ways, and you're not allowed to judge, and you're just supposed to accept that person no matter what phase they are in, and you can go back to that same phases over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple of times that I was a little worried about you because you just wanted to be left alone and not.
Yeah.
You just didn't want to realize about the holidays or anything like that, and that's understandable because of the way that you guys celebrated, because you and Mom did celebrate the holidays quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every holiday there was something special about it, whether it be meals or just decorating the house or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get out of that depression, if ever? I don't think I ever got out of that in the sense of missing her.
Well, I never stopped missing her, but eventually you just get to the point where you have to keep going, and you do. You get up every morning and you go to work and you eat your meals and go to sleep again, and you have to keep going.
Do you think that for you keeping going was your faith? Your faith?
That's part of it, sure.
And going back to see the family in Leominster?
Yeah. I'm still very close with all of my in-laws.
Yeah, they don't even call you a brother-in-law. They call you buddy. And anytime you want to go see them, they are just more than welcome to have you there.
You're right.
So, I guess my other question is, now that she has passed away, when it comes to her anniversary, and she has a tombstone at Fort Bliss. How do you mark her anniversary?
I made a special visit down there, and I talked to you. That's about it.
And you talk to the family, too.
Oh, yeah, I talk to them regularly anyway.
Because, they want to make sure you're doing okay.
Yeah.
So, now you're retired, correct?
Yes.
Once you got out of the military, then what did you do?
Once I left the military, I went to school.
What kind of college?
I had completed 2 years of college while I was in the military. So when I retired from the military, my plan was to go back to school, and I did. I went to UTEP, University of Texas at El Paso, and completed a master's degree program.
In what? A master's in what?
In English and linguistics.
So it would be English as a second language?
Well, that's what I worked in up there. I worked for a couple of the 2 years that I was working on my master's degree. I was a teaching assistant in English as a second language, and then when I did graduate, I was hired as an instructor and worked for 4 or 5 years as an instructor in English as a second language.
And when you taught English as a second language, is it true that after you taught these classes, these students became friends of yours because they loved your attitude and you shared the accomplishments in their lives?
Well, I have no idea what the students think anymore, but I got along pretty well with the students that I had.
So when they graduated in English as a second language, am I correct to say that you guys had like a big party?
No, we never did any of
Or
that.
got together and said congratulations?
No, they wouldn't. The English as a second language is what they were required to take to complete college English. So they weren't getting degrees in English as a second language.
Oh, okay.
They were working mostly as engineers.
Okay. But didn't you also teach the conversion of military equipment into basic English language, whether it be translated into books or audiobooks?
Yeah, that was another job that I had after I stopped working at the university.
Okay, so this was after the military, correct?
Yeah.
And did you like that job?
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
So you actually wrote books that are still out there, is that correct?
I have no idea if the books are still there or not, but they were adaptations of U.S. manuals, U.S. field manuals for the use of the Saudi Arabian Army.
Wow. That's so was it classified?
No.
It wasn't classified.
It wasn't classified.
Was it written so basically that it could be in English, that it could be interpreted into other languages?
Probably, yeah. That was the main purpose, was to reduce the highly technical language so that it could be translated easily.
And when you retired from the military, what did you retire as?
I was a first sergeant.
Okay, and so after the military, you went to school, and then you taught, and you were a professor at UTEP, right?
I was an instructor. It's a different.
Excuse me, sorry, an instructor. And so after that, did you decide you wanted to go back into work with the government?
Yeah.
And how did that come about?
A friend of ours.
And who was this friend?
His name was Joe Montiel.
Mm-hmm.
Told me that we met, and he said, I saw an advertisement for a job that you might like. So I said, thank you, and I went and tried it out, and I got the appointment at Fort Bliss, as a Department of the Army civilian, as an instructor, really.
Another instructor.
Yeah, still an instructor.
Still an instructor. What were you teaching?
This was the basic basic course for second lieutenants in the air defense artillery.
So what were you doing? Training them how to get familiar with the arsenal, or what?
Some of it was, well, not. I didn't have much to do with the weapons. I had to do with their map reading and some of the technical stuff that they had to do.
Did you like that?
Oh yeah, it was kind of fun.
And then did you stay in that job or move on to another federal government job?
I moved on to another job in the same branch, the same activity, but the job then was a tech writer and editor, and that's where I spent the rest of my Department of the Army civilian days.
Tech writer doing what kind of writing and editing on what?
Field manuals for air defense systems.
Okay. Do you think that those are still out there?
Some of them, no. The weapons systems change so much that if they're out there, they're in somebody's library. That's all.
Yeah, because everything's computerized now, right?
Yeah, and the systems are different. The weapons are gone that I worked on.
And so, when did you retire from the military?
I retired from the military in 1971.
And when did you retire from the government?
From civil service, I retired in 1993.
So you're actually a triple dipper.
Well, yeah. The third one is Social Security.
So you're a triple dipper.
Yes.
So once you retired, what did you want to do?
Anything.
Anything?
Yeah.
Like?
Well, the first summer that I was retired, I went to Alaska to pan gold.
Alaska to pan gold, and what did you have to do to prepare for that trip?
Oh, I had to let my beard grow, I guess. I didn't have to do much. I had most of what I needed because I had been camping and fishing and all that kind of stuff.
Well, what were the requirements that you needed to bring when you went panning for gold? Can you tell me?
Mostly it was just the clothes that you would need to keep warm and dry.
Weren't you required to bring a gun?
No, you weren't required to. You were allowed to if you wanted to.
Because in case you ran into wildlife.
Yeah, bears is what they were talking about, not just plain old wildlife. And yes, we saw them.
And you did see them. And did you meet people there that you continued to stay in touch when you kept going back?
Yeah, for quite a while. They're all gone or forgotten now. But
how many years did you do that panning of gold in Alaska?
For 3 summers. 3 summers I went up there.
And it was pretty awesome, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic. The last year I was up there for 6 weeks in the summer, and that, when you go on the long stretches, you work as part of the crew. Mm-hmm. So my job for that last year, I was the power company. I had to run the generator every night, and I had to run the water pump to fill up the water system, to run the water system for the camp, so that they'd have hot showers and have.
So you were really roughing it.
Well, no, it wasn't that bad. It was fun.
Did you have a hotel to stay in, or did you stay in someone's house?
No, we stayed in a hut.
You stayed in a hut?
It was a plywood shell of a hut, and it had a 2-burner Coleman stove in it, and a couple of bunks,
and what did you do for dinner?
Canned food.
Canned food that you were required to bring, or that they supplied?
They supplied most of it. Yeah.
Okay. And salmon?
Salmon, if you caught it, yeah.
Were you allowed to go fishing while you were up there,
Oh yeah.
even though you were panning for gold?
Well, we had to have a fishing license.
Okay.
But yeah, we did a lot of salmon fishing. There was there's a river right there at the camp. It's the Cripple River is the name of it, and every summer they have a big run of silver salmon, coho or silver salmon, and they are absolutely delicious.
Oh yeah. So you knew how to cook them
Yeah.
while you were there, or did the people teach you different ways to cook the salmon?
We did. We were on our own as far as cooking them.
So once you did the Alaska thing, which I think is insane, but I think it's awesome, did you not ever want to go back to see the dogs racing in Alaska?
I was never too interested in the Iditarod is the name of the race. I saw the big arch in the street in Nome, because that's where the camp was.
Right.
That we went gold mining it, and yeah, we had good times in Nome downtown. Myself and one of my partners, we drove our four-wheelers into Nome and spent the weekends in there at the old folks center.
And what did you do in the old folks center? Just entertain them, or just?
Well, we talked and visited with people, but mostly we went in to do our laundry.
Oh well, there you go. Did they? Did they charge you for that, or did they say no? Come on in and help yourself.
Come and do it. Help yourself. And
so, have you ever seen the Northern Lights?
Oh yeah.
And how was that?
It was fantastic.
Was it like speechless and breathless and just fantastic?
This may surprise you since you grew up down in this part of the country, but I had seen the Northern Lights in Massachusetts many times.
Oh, so is there a difference?
Well, it may be more intense and brighter up in Alaska, but not much difference. And basically, the Northern Lights are visible later in the year, in the winter time, not the time when we were up there doing our gold panning.
And one of your other hobbies is trains.
Yeah, I used to be really interested in trains, and I'm interested in taking rides on trains.
And which was your favorite train ride, just out of curiosity, and why?
Oh, the one I like the most is the Cumbres and Toltec, which is from Chama, New Mexico, to Antonito, Colorado, or back the other way. But that's my favorite one.
And is it also because those are great trout fishing places?
Well, that's a possibility, but when I went there to go on the train, it didn't really have anything to do with trout fishing.
But why did you like that specific route? I mean, was it scenic, was it historic, or all of the above?
It's all of the above, and it happened to be the place that we took you the first weekend you belonged to us.
And was that when when Mom had the white suit and she got it all black?
Yeah.
And she, because back then you dressed up whenever you traveled, and we happened to be in the cart where the soot actually came literally on you and landed on you, and while you were outside, we were outside because you were allowed to go to and from the different parts of the train, correct?
And there was one open car that you could ride.
And that's when her white outfit completely turned.
Well, it didn't completely. It was speckled.
It was speckled, yes. It did not make her happy, though. I know that. But so now you've been on several trains to and from. We took you to the one in Arizona. It was kind of warm, and it was more deserty rather than
That's
the Valley Verde.
Valle Verde, yeah.
And so each train ride that you've taken has just been different, correct?
Yeah.
So you get to see different scenery. So I'm going to bring you down memory lane when I was in college, and I was taking a geography class, and the instructor had told us, we're going to go on a field trip on this mountain, and we're going to identify different kinds of rocks. And so I brought you, and do you remember what happened?
I'm not going to discuss what happened. It wasn't anything bad.
No, it wasn't anything bad. I was just kind of amazed at what a smart person you were compared to the professor that was trying to teach us differences in formations of rocks.
Well, I had a little bit of an interest, and I had stumbled on a book and read it, and it just happened to be the one that you guys were using as a textbook. So I had a pretty good idea of what he was going to tell you. Yeah.
And my dad, he's being very humble here. My dad kind of came out, and the instructor said, well, this is this type of rock, and my dad kind of came out and said, well, not really. And so the students started paying more attention to my father than the instructor. And he wasn't trying to do it on purpose. It's just that is the type of knowledge that you keep in your brain.
Yeah.
Because, you were reading that book because it was fun?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Okay, so you like history.
History, geography, geology. Well, I don't know. I like almost anything.
Okay, so when you and Mom got me, did you notice that you consistently introduced me to different types of music, different types of plays, different types of genres?
No, it wasn't anything that I realized it was intentional. It's just stuff we do. That's all.
So it wasn't intentional, but it's amazing how when a parent introduces a child to different types of music, it stays within your heart and soul. And one specific one was Harry Belafonte.
Wow.
You would often play that music with me. And so one year, I believe I was 21, I convinced you to come to Las Vegas with me to go see Harry Belafonte. And I acted like a teenager, and you looked at me and said, really, why are you getting so excited? It wasn't just the fact that I was able to see an artist who you had exposed me to, but to be able for you to come and enjoy that type of music. And thanks to you, you introduced me to enjoying Broadway plays and musicals and plays, and that was because you participated in those. Even though I was growing up, I never participated in those type of plays, correct?
Yeah, you were in plays.
Oh, what kind of plays was I in? I remember one of them, I was an elf.
Yeah.
And I had to wear these stupid shoes that I just absolutely hated. And they curled up at the end, and they had bells, and I thought I was going to fall over them, but I remember that one, but I don't remember any others because there were so many other things that we were always involved in as a family that I guess took precedence over it. But thanks to you, I'm now loving plays and ice skating because you exposed me to that. And also ballet to a certain extent, and a little bit of bowling because Mom did that. Mom used to bowl and smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally.
She would
and
hide it from me, but she would do
but yet you also smoked.
I did earlier, yeah.
But did you hide that from her when you were smoking?
No.
Okay.
No.
But how did you quit smoking? I just wonder how you quit smoking.
You know exactly.
Okay, well, in essence, I came out and showed him what a heart looks like when you continue to smoke, and it kind of consistently
You gave me pictures of black lungs. That's what it was.
And then he quit. So
you were in the third grade.
and I made a huge science project out of it. It was really bad, but I do want to thank you for taking this time to share with me. Every time that you come in, it is a pleasure. I absolutely love you from every part of my body. I thank you so much for the opportunity you have given me in this life. Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Me too.
I love you.
I love you too, kid.
And remember to be kind to one another. And I look forward to seeing you on the next podcast.